Hey, my name is Dan Page. I'm a mortgage broker in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I've been brokering now for over 20 years. I'd like to talk to you today to introduce the concept of mortgage freedom. And I like to think that when Clark Kent takes his glasses off, that he becomes Superman. I'm going to put my glasses on and I'm going to become a mortgage freedom expert. And so listen, I've been brokering now for, like I said, over 20 years. And the one question that I get consistently is, what is your best rate? And rate is an important question, and it does have some value. Though, what tends to happen is that people really focus on getting point 0.1 better on the rate, and though they're stuck in this mortgage for 25 years, and they really just come to the conclusion that that's what they need to do. And so let's get the best rate every 5 years and move through that. And honestly, I've worked with hundreds of clients, and that's a question that is on their mind all the time. And hey, I'll get you the best rate, and but what I'd rather get you to do is be mortgage free. That's really the question that I want to talk about a lot more going forward. And so there's three aspects that I really want to talk about, and there's structure, cash flow, and equity. So one is structure. Two is cash flow. And three is equity, which is the equity that is in your home. And yeah, we'll get into that. And so, like I said, we really want to move away from this primary question of what is rate, and we want to move into what's really going to bring you into mortgage freedom. That's what I'm excited to bring you into. And so, we're going to start with structure. And structure includes, what is your amortization? What are your prepayment privileges? Uh, should you have a readvanceable mortgage, or should you have a traditional mortgage? Should you have a line of credit with your mortgage? What is the overall plan for the mortgage? And the plan actually starts in the planning process, but it's really what happens after the mortgage closes to implement that plan. And so for me, I don't want to be like, okay, talk to you in 5 years time, we'll get you the best rate at that time. I want to say, okay, let's get you into something right now that's a proper structure that's going to meet the needs of becoming mortgage free. And I'm going to work with you through that process to help you achieve that goal, if that's a goal that you would like to achieve. And the next aspect I want to talk about in regards to this mortgage freedom is cash flow. And here we got cash flow right here. And the reality is cash flow changes. Like in families, in homes, cash flow changes. For example, you might get bonuses, you might get overtime, you might get a large CRA return at the end of the year. You might have children that grow up and leave home. I have two, I have three children, and two of them are teenage boys, and so I recognize how much groceries cost, and so that's going to be a shift for us, and so that's going to change our cash flow, and so these are things that, here's the reality, that if you don't think about that, then when it comes down to it, that cash flow is really just going to disappear. And if it doesn't have a plan, if you don't kind of give it a job to attain to, like you might be gaining $500 per month in cash flow, you might be paying a car off. And so those are things that we can do to implement using your prepayment strategies to help bring your mortgage down significantly. And because whenever you put more down on your mortgage, it goes against the principal, and that really impacts things in the long term. And so cash flow is something to really, really consider. And before we get into the final one, I want to ask this one question, and it's, what is your exit strategy date? What is the date? So I'm going to talk about mortgage freedom. Freedom. And I'm going to put a line here and a question mark, which is, what is your mortgage freedom date? When are you going to become mortgage free? And lots of people know what the rate is, they know what their term is, they know what their amortization is, more or less. What's the date that your mortgage is going to be fully paid off, and how old are you going to be when that happens? And so here's the thing. If you focus on rate, that's going to save you maybe 20, 25 bucks per month. If you focus on when is your mortgage going to be paid off, and if you make that sooner, you're talking about likely over $100,000 and in interest savings. And so that's a metric. That $100,000 is then yours to use to build wealth, right? And so that is a massive game changer. And it just all has to do with focusing on the right things and asking the right questions and not focusing on the wrong things and the wrong questions that we can tend to sometimes focus on, unfortunately. And the next thing I want to talk about is your equity. And if you live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, by and large, you're going to have a lot of equity in your home because properties have been valuating and you've been paying your mortgage down. So that difference is your equity. And so there's actually strategies that we can use and we can leverage that equity to pay your mortgage off much, much faster. One strategy is one property away. And now you might say to yourself, well, I don't want to own 5, 10 properties. I'm not going to be a property investor. And we're not speaking about that. We're talking about owning one more property and leveraging that one property and using that to take advantage of paying your personal mortgage off much sooner. With that can metric can be, you might take 10, 12 years off your mortgage just by doing that. Here's a really cool thing. We live in Halifax. We have secondary suites. And with secondary suites, you can actually have one property away strategy and not have one more property, because you can actually build a secondary suite in your home or on your property. And so you can implement that exact strategy in Halifax area using your own property, not actually buying something else. And so that's interesting to consider. The other thing I want to talk about is the Smith maneuver, and that has to do with your equity and readvanceable mortgage, but it's an investment strategy. So you're not owning, in this case with the Smith maneuver, you're not buying one more property. You are implementing a maneuver called the Smith maneuver, and it takes advantage of the investment tax laws in Canada to help you pay your mortgage off much sooner. And that's another strategy, and it's an advanced strategy. But here's the thing: if you own a home and you're in Halifax or Nova Scotia or Canada actually, then you can do this. And it is advanced, but you can do it just like one property way you can do. These are advanced strategies, but if you own a home, then they are accessible to you. In these strategies, as in all these strategies, you need a really good mortgage broker, a really good accountant, and a really good financial planner. And so I've got those experts connected with me. And but if you have those three, any person can implement these advanced strategies and pay your mortgage off much, much sooner. And so I'm just excited. Listen, I've been putting people into homes for over 2 decades now. I've got hundreds of clients, and I've got to say, I am so excited about talking about this mortgage freedom aspect of mortgages. The very thing that I put you in is the very thing I want to help you come out of. And so just really want to be asking the right questions for you, and really focusing on freedom and wealth, building wealth allocation for you. And the reality is, I want to say this just in closing, that the kind of old mindset is, the only way to get out of a mortgage is to just take every single penny and throw it at your mortgage. And that doesn't sound exciting. That sounds actually difficult, that you're stressed, you're consumed. Instead, if you put a plan in place with the proper structure, cash flow, and equity, then you don't have to live that out. You can live out in freedom, and you can maintain the same style that you're used to living, and it doesn't have to be overcome by this in a negative or unhelpful or heavy way. Anyway, so I'm over the next few weeks and months, I'm going to be really breaking down these strategies, and so please stick with me, continue to watch these videos, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And in the meantime, please feel free to hop on my website, mortgageeast.ca, and you can look at a few of these strategies and a few of these options, and you can reach out, and then you can give me a call or give me a text or email. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff. I'm so excited. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.